Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Wal-Mart exclusive OJism. That said, I did actually get this guy off Big Bad Toy Store, like that Ronan the Accuser we looked at yesterday, but that's besides the point. It was a Walmart exclusive initially that, surprise, surprise, never saw around here. I don't think a lot of people saw this guy. But at any rate, we're taking a look at Star-Lord Man from Guardians of the Galaxy. That said, this of course brought to us by the, I gotta say, not so fine folks over at Hasbro, because I got some things to talk about with this Vulcan body buck Mr. Star-Lord is rocking here in just a moment. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and do the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Star-Lord has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with a pair of trigger finger hands with the appropriate hinges for holding weapons, funny enough. So that is cool. I do like that. We also get his sword, which I never knew Star-Lord had a sword, particularly a pirate sword, so there is that. Be careful with this little doodad on the end here. That's kind of flexible. And then we also get his very sci-fi looking pistol, which does conveniently holster on his hip here. So if I take him, put this in here, there you go. And yes, Star-Lord is using the Vulcan body buck, which I've had mixed experiences with. As far as figures like Kazar, the caveman looking guy from the Zabu Build-A-Figure wave, Angel, who is not fully Vulcan, but he does have the same legs and arms, Cyclops from X-Men 97, which again, not 100% Vulcan, but close enough. I think the only other one I can think of is Black Panther and Vulcan himself. Although I do have some figures on pre-order that utilizes body mold. It's not a body mold I have a ton of. As far as Vulcan himself goes, he's fine. As far as the other four, kind of gummy in the boot cut. And Star-Lord is no different. And normally, I would heat these guys up, pop their boots off, put a dab of soap in there, put them back on, bada bing, bada boom, problem solved. And while I have achieved my fix somewhat, I actually had to do it differently on this guy, because when I initially went to heat the boots and pop them off, they snapped clean off. Which is something that happened to one of the Black Panthers I messed with. So I don't know if Angel, Kazar, and Cyclops had softer plastic on the boots and stiffer plastic on the calf ear, or what, but this guy, that was not happening. He straight up snapped right at the boot cut. There was nothing I could do about it. So shout out to, I believe her name was Yvonne at Big Bad Toy Store for helping me get this guy replaced free of charge. I just had to send the other one back, which it was broken, so what the heck am I going to do with that exactly? I don't know, you be the judge. But at any rate, we got a Star-Lord that's in one piece. I did the best I could to get the soap in where I wanted to get it in. I had to do the same thing with Hydra Bob because he wasn't popping apart either. And maybe this ends my career of heating up boots and popping them off, unless I know for a fact that they're going to pop off and nothing's going to break. Fingers crossed, I could still keep doing that. Or better yet, how about the calf cuts don't, twist the plastic when I go to move them. Like, this one's still kind of bad. It's not great. I don't know why this side is so tough and this side is practically like butter smooth at this point. I don't know if I need to get more soap in that joint or not, but I've attempted this 3 times and it just sucks, because if I could just heat these up, pop them off, it'd be like a 5-minute deal and then I'd be done. And we would not be having this discussion and wasting all of your well-earned time. So, as far as articulation goes on this figure, his head will rotate. He's got a little bit of bobble up and down without that disc hinge. A little bit of bobble side to side. He's got a hinge in the neck that will move forward and back. Shoulders will pop up this far. And he does have the beautiful butterfly that does work. Full rotation in the shoulder. Bicep swivel. I actually don't feel the need to mess with those too much. They feel okay. They don't feel like they're twisted or anything. They're just tight. Double elbow. Swivel hinge wrists. If I pop this out, you can crunch them back this far. Forward this far. It's not the tightest thing ever. Although I don't think the first one was that tight either, so it's whatever. He does have a waist twist. Hips will kick out this far. Back down. They'll kick forward this far. Back down. He's got a thigh cut. That works. That's always kind of gummy, so I don't tend to mess with those. And the pegs are a lot thicker, so I'm not as worried about breaking them. It said the double knee, on the other hand, does not want to budge. There we go. I did have to heat up the double knees to get them to work. Both times I've messed with this figure, so word to the wise, do that. You should be good. Of course, he has a boot cut. This side, pretty smooth on mine. This side, I don't know what it is, but it does feel significantly tighter over here. Now, my fix is not like 100% guaranteed. Certain plastics don't really adhere to it, but most of the time, it's a pretty solid fix. He does have a hinge in the foot with a rocker and peg holes at the bottom of the feet, and that's your lot. It's a good figure. Decent base body. I don't hate the sculpt. I think the head might sit a little high, but it's not as egregious as some Marvel Legends sculpts. That said, if I tilt it forward and do this, that's kind of more or less what I'd like to see moving forward. Just Dremel out the head a little more, guys, and this will be a decent buck. But whatever. People want lollipop syndrome, I guess. But yeah, they really need to fix some of the gummy plastic. And this is an older figure. So maybe they're working on that, because I know the last newish wave I looked at, the Secret Wars wave, that did not have a ton of stuff I needed to put soap in, other than the Wolverine and the Captain America's boots. Other than that, I didn't put soap in anything else. And then, so far from the newest Retro Spider-Man series, or Retro Card Spider-Man wave, the only figures I have at the moment are, is it Briggs Bailey Spider-Boy and Agent Venom, of all things. And Spider-Boy's fine. Agent Venom, I had to put soap in his biceps, and I was actually able to heat him up and pop his arms off, but he did have a little soap ahead of time. So maybe now I could probably do that with Star-Lord here, but I just don't trust the plastic. I don't want to snap it again, have to pester Yvonne again, and all that good stuff. So we're just going to leave it be. If I have to, I might hit that other boot with some more soap and try to get it in that socket. It's just 10 times more difficult when I can't take the thing apart. But before we wrap this thing up, why don't we bring in our two regulars. The Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith, right there. And the infamous 11 Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone, because he is not a 6-inch scale figure. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while I don't think that good old Star-Lord, man, is necessarily a terrible Marvel Legends figure, he comes with, in my opinion, an appropriate amount of accessories. Not too much, but I don't think it's too little. I mean, he has a gun. He comes with a gun. He has a sword. Comes with a sword. He's got fists. He's got hands to hold his weapons. Granted, the sword is a little awkward to pose in that trigger hand, but you can do it. Other than maybe an unhelmeted, unmasked, whatever you want to call that thing, head, the only other thing he could have come with is maybe some open hands or something. I don't know exactly. Blast effect for the gun? Especially since this guy used to retail for $35. If you can believe that, he's $17.99 on Big Bad Toy Store, so I suggest you get him there. But really, the only gripe I have with this figure is those boot cuts. I really think this Vulcan body needs to be reworked. They're too tight. Way too tight. I don't like that detented rotation that Marvel Legends have going on ever since they went pinless. It's why I'm not a fan of pinless tech with Hasbro. They just don't seem to do it right, unlike Mattel or Four Horsemen, who have pinless tech and it works just fine. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.